3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 120 of Ruse Radio. We are back in his house again with a very special guest. Special guest, please introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, I'm Matt Bow. Also, when you put this up, if you can make it Matt Bow, because I have warrants.
Warrants?
Yeah.
Like for your arrest?
Yep. So just cut the last name. It's Matt Bow with an H.
Is that what inspired the name change? Was the warrants, or is that...
Also on Real Talk, it's because James posted a video with my last name on it, my full last name, and it was like a racy joke. And first thing you Googled when you like, I was looking for jobs at the time, and I had to get him to change it because it was first thing right under my LinkedIn was this video. So I'm still looking for jobs. But,
yeah. Like if a potential employer were to like say, who's this guy? They would look it up and it'd be like something you...
It's a good joke. That's the thing.
Yeah, but out of context, like that's the problem. Because it's like, we're hiring this guy for Wendy's.
Yeah, Wendy's.
Him.
Yeah.
I mean, hey man, it couldn't have been that bad. I'm sure it is a good joke, but that's the problem. That's the problem is who gets to see it. So
Everybody.
You just had to like change the entire... It's almost like changing your phone number, like,
it got a lot of views too. That's the cool thing.
Yeah.
Because James, knows how to run a good video, good Instagram site. But yeah. So Matt Bow, and that's it.
Matt Bow. Interesting. I was gonna ask you, but I'm glad that you gave me a beautiful explanation. It almost seems like it was meant to be. Like, maybe it's nature pushing you in the right direction.
Oh, speaking of nature, I hear the cat out there.
Yeah, I'm going to give her a chance, all right, folks?
Beautiful cat.
Yeah, Margot's a little spoiled. She usually does handle the podcast well. She's not... Oscar, he'll attack you. He'll try to lick your face. Margot just kind of blends in with the environment. So, for the most part, there are good cats and there are bad cats. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like,
she's a licker, dude.
Oh, yeah, she's a licker. She'll lick you, dude. I'm surprised she licked you so quickly, though. Usually she takes a second. Yeah, she must like you.
I got away with it, dude.
Yeah. You must. You must have gave her that look or something. Margot, she's a very sweet cat, though. Because, again, there's good cats, there's bad cats. Some cats, you go to people's houses, and it's like, this cat, I couldn't even imagine. Like, it'll actually hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
It'll climb on you and destroy you.
I noticed she has her claws, right?
She does.
That's like a political thing, right? Declawing animals.
I guess it is.
I didn't know that.
I wouldn't do it, though. Because I feel like what I've heard is that it's bad for the animal. Like, it's not bad for the animal in that, like...
just not natural.
It's not natural, so they can't, like, if in defense situations their natural thing doesn't work because you go to use their claws, they're like, oh shit, those things aren't there. But also, I think it's supposed to be painful for them. Like, I think when you cut it, it's supposed to actually hurt. From what I've heard, I haven't looked into this in a long time because it could be one of those things I heard when I was 10. I was like, you know what, that sounds about right. But yeah, and so Margot's all natural, uncut,
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't declaw my cats. I also don't circumcise my cats for the same reason.
Exactly. It's about the same philosophy, ain't it?
Everything goes exactly the same.
Yeah. Take what God gave you.
Not natural.
It's not natural, right? I wonder what the percentage is of how many dudes are circumcised. It's got to be higher than I would think.
I think it's less and less every year.
Really? It goes down, you think?
I bet. I think religion's, less and less of a thing. That's where it stems from, Oh, hey, buddy. I think you should, though.
You should circumcise the cat?
I don't know. Like everyone, It depends, though, because it was funny. There was a comic that came up like a couple weeks ago, and first thing he said was, "I'm uncircumcised," and everyone in the crowd just went, "Ew," and he didn't know what to do after. He didn't expect that reaction, but you have to navigate. You have to kind of calculate that a little bit,
Like you vocally or just
ew,
you?
Yeah,
like,
it was like a groan in the whole audience.
They didn't like that.
He had to walk back to nobody wanted to shake his hand. It was gross.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He probably thought that was going to be like the best opener.
He thought that was relatable. He was like, certainly 4 out of 8, 10 men here can relate to this.
Exactly. What if he just lost the draw? It's got to be a lot of dudes.
I bet you a lot of dudes that were uncircumcised and they didn't have the heart to be, I'm not gonna, I'm Spartacus that, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna stand up and be in that moment at an open mic, tell everyone I'm also uncircumcised, which I'm not.
Yeah.
But or maybe I am. I'm gonna ride with that guy either way. I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, I feel bad for that guy a little bit. Just because I know in his mind he really thought that was going to work. And he probably, it was the truth, and he probably went home thinking like, damn, like I am circumcised.
He wrote that down. He wrote,
uncircumcised. Damn, I am uncircumcised. Like he'd be walking out thinking about that. He'd be thinking about how all those people just judged him hardcore.
I think his girlfriend might have been in the crowd too.
Yeah.
She's the only one that knew. He cleans it, she's like, says to the crowd. He cleans it,
but in a way, maybe he learned from this experience. Maybe he had to do that. Maybe in a way, like it had to happen for him to grow. You gotta bomb sometimes, as they say. Everybody knows this. So maybe he had to go out there and say that.
Cut that joke, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just workshop it. Maybe that's the punchline. Maybe you got to build up to I'm uncircumcised. There's got to be a way.
Not first joke.
Yeah, you can't introduce with it, but maybe if you cap it off with it, like it somehow culminates with, but I'm uncircumcised. I can't even think of a situation where you would have to be circumcised, because that's the only situation you could possibly create. You'd have to have a situation where you need, porn.
Yeah,
porn. So guys, I was shooting a porno one day.
It's on the resume, right under the size, right above the size. I think that comes, yeah.
I don't think there's very many uncircumcised people in porn. Now that you mention it, I don't think that is a big circuit.
It's its own category.
Is it?
I heard.
You've heard. Yeah.
Hooded up category, yeah.
Who knows? Who really knows?
Yeah.
So you were telling me beforehand you moved here from...
What a segue. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Beautiful. This is how I do this. Very smooth like.
From Pittsburgh. Go Steelers. We're playing today.
Pittsburgh, and what was comedy like in Pittsburgh just like compared to here? Because
it's good. I've been on a couple podcasts now and I've accidentally trashed it, and I didn't mean to. And it's a great community. There's a little bit of a rift going on, in a small, probably 30 consistent comedians, 30 to 40. So bigger but small, and half of them hate each other, So there's like a kind of a weird Game of Thrones thing going on, to where certain mics you go to, certain mics you choose to, you pick your allegiance. It's weird, but it used to be so good, But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good city to start if you're ever trying to start comedy, because everyone's very welcoming. You started comedy here, right? What do you think of Chicago comedy starting out? Because luckily I came here and I was a little bit more. I had a little bit of experience, but I was looked at as a new comic, just being the new face, So what do you think? Do you feel like it's welcoming, or do you feel like? Because I can give you my answer. I think it's decently welcoming.
Before I answer that, let me welcome you in to a little bit of information. All right. When I entered Chicago, I thought one thing and one thing only. I have to take my mind-blowing abilities and let these people know that I am a professional. And one would hope that you would be welcomed in with open arms when you do such a thing, because people have to learn one way or another that you are a professional mind blower. You got to let them know. So you sure hope they're going to be welcoming, and I'm welcoming, and I welcome you to buy one of these t-shirts that we made right here for you folks at home, all right? We got smalls, we got mediums, we got larges, professional mind blower t-shirts, $25, shipping included, folks. Great way for you to support the show. Great way for you to let us know that you like what we're doing here. And also, just a fashion statement, a conversation starter. That's what it is. It's a conversation starter. People go, what is that all about? And you say, well, let me blow your mind, okay? And then you tell them all about doubt yourself. And that's how it goes. We're all professional mind blowers in our own way. And that's why I love doing this show, because it allows me to show how each and every one of us can blow minds in our own way. And if you want to help me continue to do that, you don't want to buy a t-shirt, but you want to help me, the other way you can do it is Patreon, folks. Patreon. $5 a month, and you can support us. It's the price of a coffee, the price of a beer at the bar, and it keeps this show on the road. It keeps people coming in here. We're trying to do an episode every 3 days, and if you support us, you make that even more than possible. So please consider it. I love doing this. It's what I want to do forever and always, and you can be a part of that. We got our current patrons right here on the screen, and that list is growing as we speak. So please, folks, consider it. Let's make it happen. I appreciate you. Now, let's hear how Ruse feels about the Chicago comedy scene.
Yeah, I would say it would be welcoming. Just because it seems as if as long as you introduce yourself and you show yourself around, like, people automatically are just like, oh, hey. And as long as you, like, they see you enough times, they automatically think of you as one of them. Like, you just kind of quickly join that community, it seems like. Because that's basically what I've been doing ever since I started really filming these podcasts again here, is just talking with comedians and, like, doing that and saying, hey, you want to come on? And it seems like, for the most part, everybody's really welcoming. It just is more and more and more. It seems like an endless fountain of people, too. It's just all kinds of people. Like,
I saw you had Ron on. What's that? I saw you had a couple good comics. What's her name? From Glenwood.
Nabu.
She's gonna hate that. Yeah. I owe her Adderall, but
hey, man, shit happens.
I don't have a script anymore, so I have to tell her about that. That's why I haven't been at Glenwood in a while, because I have a debt. I have a debt that I can't fulfill.
You're going to show up, and it's going to be like a loan shark's going to be waiting outside for you. Yeah. I mean, hey, man, so you could probably work something out, though. Like, there's got to be something else. Like,
get some street drugs.
Can't get you that Adderall, but I'll buy you 10 shots.
I get her some off-market Vyvanse.
Yeah, man. See, you're thinking outside the box already.
Outside the pill box. Yeah.
Outside the pill box. See, I don't think I've ever even really done pills to really Vyvanse.
Don't put me in that box of doing pills. I'm not a pill guy. Like, yeah.
I've never been a pill guy. What's it like being
recorded.
a pill guy? But with the Chicago thing, yeah, I think everybody's pretty welcoming, though. I think everybody's pretty cool, and everybody's pretty it seems like the people, like, I'm glad I met James first, because it seems like there's certain people who really put themselves out there and they're involved, and I think that kind of keeps you going too and keeps you motivated. Like, when you see people like that really do a ton of shit, it seems like that's the whole idea, is you just start doing a ton of shit, and then eventually you're doing the same thing but making way more money. That's how comedy works. You have to do, like, comedy all the time, from my impression of what I hear. And so that creates that community, because you have these people you see all the time at all these different open mics. Like, I don't know if you said it on the podcast, or I think you said it before, but that you'll see them all over the city. You see them everywhere. And, like, that really creates this, like, giant network of people, and that interconnection does a lot, And I think, like, if you can, nowadays, it reminds me of, like, music with, like, you could be, like, the best comedian in Chicago, but now it's, like, about social media. Like, you could be the best rapper, but now it's about social media. And how do you post videos of you being the best ever? Because that's, like, the only way, really. Because you can grow so much in one place.
Is that something that you do? Do you post a lot of rap videos?
Yeah, because you got to. And, like, I've noticed some, like, but a lot of comedians do that, too. Like James, again. He posts a lot of stuff. I think that he was doing a lot of TikTok stuff before he really did stand-up, I think. If I remember correctly, yeah. Which was, like, during 2020 when everything, everybody's at home, so he started making videos. So I think that's how that goes. That's how a lot of, like, when I talk to a lot of comedians, they say that. Like, in 2020, it seems like they all took a break, and, like, some of them started, like, right before that.
When the world shut down, yeah.
I think they're gonna say when the world started.
Yeah,
kind of did a little bit when everything just got a little shardy for a second. Life that happens. That again has to happen sometimes, folks. And then, like, because I think now you're seeing a lot of people, like, a lot more people do want to see comedy now. I imagine like the audiences now are nothing like 2 years ago. Like, way more people are showing up.
There's a weird boom that's been going on since like post COVID. I think a lot of like during COVID, a lot of people watched a lot of comedy during COVID. So like even if they weren't doing comedy after, they wanted to go out and see it.
Yeah.
That was something I noticed. I don't know. Like, do you do comedy or do you just rap? Or are you like solely a rapper?
I just do music, yeah. But I've noticed that it is. When I did the podcast with Ron Bloom, he kind of enlightened me a little bit on it because I was already kind of thinking like, there's something about doing rap in front of comedians that makes sense. Like especially the type of rap that I do. It's kind of like 90s rap type of like the mentality of it. Like the writing is about the lyricism and the flow and all of this and the way that the words connect, similar to how comedy is kind of like about the craftsmanship and the writing and the way that you use each individual word to connect with ideas that you couldn't necessarily communicate through another medium. Like you're able to communicate these things in this way and it connects with people because you did it in that way. So there's like a certain thing that works, I think, with doing it with comedians. But so yeah, that's kind of, I don't know, maybe, and I don't even know where to find these music open mics, truly. I can find a couple of them, but I don't even know where to find all these things, so.
There's a couple. I don't know if they are in rap but like anywhere with the mic is good. I mean, I think that's cool. Do you get good, where else do you go other than Glenwood?
Glenwood, I went to Power Hour once, and that went fantastically. But the difference, I should say, is that you got to freestyle there. If I'm going to do music, I just got to freestyle. So it was there, the Glenwood, and then I went to Red Room, too, because Red Room is all arts, so they're cool with that. Red Room, you get 4 minutes. Glenwood, you get 5 minutes. And then, but Power Hour, what I did with that is because it was like a comedy show, I made sure I went like 10th. And then I just wrote down a bunch of shit that everybody said. And then I made sure to like freestyle all that shit. And that's what made it work. And I think it's like the same thing. Like in comedy, it's like callbacks. Like, oh, he just called back to everything from the last hour. So
that's good.
Like, So, but you got to like make it work in a situation like that, similar to comedy. So, but freestyling, that's scary. Freestyling's kind of scary.
Can you do that? Are you good at freestyling?
I can. I would say that I'm all right. I don't want to act like I'm good, but I can do it. Like I know I can because I've gotten good reactions, but I feel like an idiot, Like,
it's probably tough because you have so much written. It's probably tough not to fall into the lyrics that you had, right?
Really, it's more like you don't want to say the same things when you're freestyling. Like one thing I'll have a pattern of like, okay, so you'll just notice this with any rapper that freestyles. They're always kind of talking about how good of a rapper they are, or how great they are, because it's just kind of like what you would say. And like Harry Mack, if you've ever heard of him.
I heard of him.
He's like the best freestyle rapper I've ever seen. He's just crazy good. And what makes him so good is that he can just freestyle like forever on anything, and he can just keep going, and he's done that for so long. But in that, you can still see like he's just finding ways to use words differently to say that he's a great rapper, unless he's doing like a challenge or something like that. He is like incredible though. He's gotten so much better because he was great like 10 years ago, but now he's amazing.
He goes on like Omegle and stuff, right?
Yes, yeah. And that's where I think that's like a lot of what made him better. Now he's done like promotions for movies and all kinds of crazy. I think he was on Oprah, maybe.
Oprah,
yeah.
He is old.
Yeah, but like I like the essence of a freestyle. It's not that hard. Like so, what he has this formula, and the problem is like I get carried away, and like you can do that. You can. It's everybody freestyles different, but like the formula makes sense. So it's like, okay, if I see the word over there, probability. So like you gave me the word probability, and that's like what I have to freestyle. It'd be like you come up with words that rhyme with probability, but you don't just say probability right away. You say like when I rap, I'm like, God, you're feeling me. I'm like, I got no options. I'm God, you're feeling me. I'm like, never stopping. I swear I'm so surreal and see like. Yo, there's no probability you kill me. So
like, you fill it in later.
You have to find a way to put it in there. That's way better than. But even then, I kind of fucked it up because I think you're supposed to put it at the very end, like probability. And swear to God, you're feeling me. Like if you think you're gonna be no probability, but And then you come up with words around that. That's how he does it. So if it's like probability,
got good ability.
Yeah.
Bet on me, it's good probability. Yeah.
yeah. Probability is a hard word to rhyme, actually, dude. Like probability, dude. I can't even think of words that rhyme with misogyny.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. Yeah. See, you're a rapper too, dude. You're a rapper too. I could get you on a track, you know. I could start your rap career if you really need.
My friends and I would rap sometimes before shows, especially. It's a good way. We drive to show, place in Pittsburgh. It's just an easy way to get your brain flowing.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you freestyle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope, dude.
It started bad. We would do it in college too. It starts bad, but the more you do it, it's like fun. You get better.
It is good practice just to get your brain flowing. Like that really is like what it's good for. And like the thing with freestyling is that you just kind of have to go. Like you can't really stop. Like
there's a beat you gotta catch to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like if the beat hits you, it's just like you gotta just go with whatever the fuck is in your head. You. I could freestyle with you right now, bro. I could pull up a beat and we could freestyle.
No, I'm too. We were drinking this morning. So.
Oh man, damn. He lost his freestyle skills, but don't worry, folks. I will get this guy on a track. Okay, I'll make it happen. He's told me he used to rap. Yeah, I bet your rap skills are on par. The thing is, like, I really think most people can kind of rap no matter what. Like, most people aren't that bad. You can get them to be good.
Once they catch a flow.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard some bad rap though, for sure.
Yeah,
I've done some bad rap, so I've seen it. I've seen it be done.
It exists, but there's potential. There's potential. I guess you're right. You're right. There is some really bad rap. There's bad rap that's like rappers.
Yeah, there's bad rap with like Izzy Azalea. Iggy Azalea. Yeah.
Yeah, Iggy Azalea.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that thing of her on the radio show when somebody called in and was making fun of her?
Yeah, they're like, "You're bullshit. You're terrible," and they're like, "We're gonna go to the next caller." I think it was Charlemagne. Like, I don't do that.
I mean, yeah, I kind of feel bad for her. Who knows?
Yeah, she made a lot of money.
Maybe what she's doing really enlightened somebody. Maybe somebody heard Iggy Azalea's song and they stepped back from a ledge, Maybe Iggy is that person to somebody. You never know.
She built Charli XCX up. We wouldn't get Brett Summer without Iggy Azalea.
Now that's a positive way to look at it, dude. Brett Summer is I didn't even fully understand how deep that went until like I've talked to a couple people. Brett Summer's a big deal. It goes deep. It's not just like
he was in the campaign, dude.
Yeah. And it's over. Brett Summer's over. It was Brett Summer. But now we're like, I don't know if Brett Summer repeats itself. I'm pretty sure it was just that one. Because I don't think you get another one. That's kind of I think that's the philosophy. It's like Brett Summer came and went. It was 2024, and that was nice, but now it's going to be whatever 2025 is,
Yeah, Charli XCX doesn't return any fan mail. I say that for a fact. Does not return any DMs. I don't know who runs your social media.
That bitch.
So I'm not a fan.
No,
I didn't.
This wasn't you?
No.
I just feel like,
I saw on Reddit.
If she's like a real entertainer, if she should respond to all her fans, right? I think she should respond to everybody.
Multiple, messages over years and nothing.
Because I've
been told.
I just feel like...
My friend's a big fan.
Well, dude, that's the thing is like if you're a big fan of somebody and then like they don't ever respond to you for years, that's going to like sit on your soul heavy.
It took time with those messages,
Yeah. It takes a long time to write a message. Like I would imagine if you wrote Charli XCX on average for 3 times a year... for 3 years. This is an estimate, I'm guessing. But if you did it like that many times and it took at least like an hour to write every time, and 3 times a year, 6, that'd be like 9 hours.
Yeah, she's a bitch. 2014.
That's fucked up, man. How long has Charli XCX been around?
2014.
Oh, that's when she came around? I mean... Wow, 10 years. So you must whoever this is must have held this in.
11 years. Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough.
Not held it in. They make it known.
Yeah. I was going to say, you don't want to hold that one in, you know. If you told like a therapist, that might be a gold mine. Like there might be a lot there. You know, I feel like you should tell people this, you know. It's good for you.
I do. They do. Yeah.
How do people respond to you? Are they happy with this? Or
My friend, he's always talking about it.
Oh, yeah, him, right. That guy. I mean, I just hope that, like, listen, if you are that obsessed with Charli XCX, like, if you were.
Speaking of them. Yeah, speaking of the guy, yeah.
If this guy was.
Yeah.
How would you rein that in? Because, like, that could become a full-on, like, there's, like, you know, that's how people become serial killers and stuff, man. Like, eventually, it spirals in on itself, you know? You start following her.
You don't bring it up on first dates.
Yeah.
You don't go to a concert on a first date.
They just come to your apartment, and, like, you open the closet, and it's a poster inside the closet.
All of them, yeah.
Signs along the way.
She's not even, like, one of the top pop stars either, you know? So, like, I'm swinging low.
That makes it so you would be more likely to hit the target, though, if you think
That's
about
what
it.
I mean.
Yeah. You want to swing low. You don't want to go for, like, Ariana Grande or something crazy.
No, that ship has sailed.
Yeah. You know, you could, like, I don't know. I don't even like because now there's like what's a smaller other. There's Haley Williams is like a little bit smaller, but she's not the same. I was gonna say that one girl that's like real popular now with Jennifer, it's something Carpenter, Sabrina Carpenter, but now she's way too high up. You couldn't go for her. Yeah, I think you got a great choice, man.
Did you hear about Aubrey Plaza today?
No.
You know who that is?
Yeah, I know who it is.
The lady from Parks and Rec. Not to change the subject. From my fan mail to Charli XCX, but no, Aubrey Plaza's husband died today.
Who is her husband?
Nobody really knows, but like it's like a guy that was in the Hollywood area. Died. 47 years old. This isn't a bit, and I've been getting TikToks about it all day.
Damn.
Yeah, how fucking sad, random, you know?
Like, did it say how he died?
No.
Interesting. Like, he must have died suddenly. Huh.
I hope. I mean, not like I hope, but, you know.
Well, who knows?
You don't want to be slow. But, yeah, weird. I mean, she's way younger than him, you know?
Yeah. That's crazy. And I'm wondering how long they've been married now.
Since 2011.
Oh, shit. That's
I'm your
even
pop
worse.
news. I'm your pop news reporter.
Wow.
Since 2011, they've been married.
Damn.
No, they together since 2011, married in 2021. Yeah.
Still, damn, like 10 years till they got married.
Yeah,
Wow.
they've been
Good for them.
I mean, not the moment.
Yeah, not at the moment. Not at the moment. Damn, dude, that would suck. That would suck. Like, cause that would suck so much. Yeah.
Oh, it's not like you spilled a glass of water. Oh.
Yeah, it'd be pretty bad though. You know, it'd be like you spilled a really big glass of water.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that happened.
Damn, dude. I wish you hadn't broke the news to me.
He said, "I'm sorry." Like,
now
I
my
knew him.
innocence is gone, man.
You were like, "I'm sorry to hear that." Like I knew him. It's my uncle.
It is sad though, because I wish I had more to say because I don't know anything about. I haven't seen very many of Aubrey Plaza's recent movies, and I never even really saw Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
So I don't really know too much about her. But I do know that would suck. Like I'm trying to think if I was with somebody for like 15 years and they just fucking died. Like, damn it, dude, that would suck so bad because then you gotta like. It's just like a bad breakup. It's so much worse. It's so much worse than a breakup because there's like no like, oh, well, maybe she'll like me again, you know?
Yeah, that'd be the annoying part of being like in the public eye. I feel like it'd be cool 98% of the time.
Yeah.
Unless something like that happened, like everyone knows that you just like got dumped, so like your, boyfriend just got, died. That'd be annoying.
That would suck.
Like, cause I'd like some anonymity there. Bring that word back.
That would be like the worst. You need some anonymity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I got cheated on, I'd want to maybe tell my good close friends, and that's it. I don't want everyone to know I got cucked. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because then it would be like there's people from TMZ that are like coming up to you and they're saying to you like, hey, I heard that you got cheated on.
What do you think about Ronaldo?
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
suck.
And then, like, when you're crying, that would be, like, the video that goes viral. It'd be like, hey, look, like, this person's boyfriend just died, and now they're crying, and, like, you know, they got the video. That's exactly how that would work. Yeah, that would kind of suck. You wouldn't be able to cry in public. You'd have to, like, stay away from people.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to cope. Like,
Yeah.
reports say that he was at a bar for 18 hours, hitting on multiple waitresses, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of something you want to keep to yourself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why would you hit on so many different waitresses? What would be the philosophy behind that? Do you think it would really work for some people? Like, do you think it's ever worked?
Just shift changes.
I see. So you, like, time it out. You're, like,
You're
if
there
this
for
one doesn't
18
work-
hours. You're there for 18 hours, so
Yeah. You get a couple shots.
the breakfast, you know, staff,
Yeah.
lunch staff, dinner staff, and then, you know, the closing staff, you know?
Yeah.
Not that I've been there, but
Eventually, one's got to hit, right? Like,
Nope.
if the odds even out.
yeah, they
Yeah.
put that in the little receipt note. They're like, table 13. Be aware of that guy. He's going to keep ordering Bud Lights and ask for your number.
He's been here since 7
He's been
a.m.
here since 7 a.m.
I mean, you know.
Tips 15%. He's cool.
There's going to be one girl that comes along and she'll be like, oh my God, he's that psychopath that will give me all the attention I need. You know, like, there's a girl for everybody, man. There's plenty of fish in the sea. I think this method would work. If you did it for like a solid 3 months, maybe you have to hit a couple different restaurants. Maybe you can't do the same one every time. If you want to, like, really even your odds,
Yeah, you can't go back to.
you could a couple days, maybe like a week tops. But, you know, you don't want to be there too long.
Yeah.
The cops are going to show up eventually.
Eventually, they'll be there already if you go back.
You know?
Like my friend was trying to flirt up a waitress or a bartender at an open mic.
Yeah.
And he's like my roommate that comes with me sometimes, and I'm like stop. Like, I have to come back like weekly, you know?
He thought it was like it was working out for
It was
him.
just like a normal, like, he just considered it like a normal bar, you know? Yeah, why not ask for the girl's number? Like, this isn't like, don't treat this like a bar. This is like a place of residence, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And like
Hey, girl.
and you knew these people.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that's my homie over there. I see. That would be a little bit awkward. Did you have to, like, you banished him?
No.
Like,
I think she said no, so it's even worse.
but you did have to, like, inform him.
I was
at
like,
the
don't
very
do that.
least.
Yeah. I was like, I got to come back next week. What's your cat's name?
Margot. Hey, Margot. She's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. She's a little rambunctious today. Like, you know, when she was a kitten, she used to run around all the time, and she's being a little bit more of her kitten self. She's calmed down with her older age.
How old is she?
She's 8, I think.
Wow, she's an old cat.
Yeah, I don't know. I think cats, I
Not
hope they
old,
get
but
like 15.
mature, yeah, not
I
old.
think. It could be wrong. How old cats get is a good question. I know. Do you know, like, with dogs, I think it's like 15 to 20? Or-
Yeah, I know some cats are like 20 something. Talked to my one friend's cat who was like 22.
Really?
The old thing.
Do you hear that, Margot? You hear that? 22.
Yeah,
22. Maybe I need to start taking her for walks. People do it. People
Oh,
take cats for walks. And I mean, like, you know, I think Margot might be capable, but you're just putting a lot of trust in that cat, I feel like. I'd need, like, a big-ass harness or something.
Cats outside are scary. My friend lets her cat outside, and like I feel like they don't have the wherewithal the dogs do to come back. You know, they'll just run, get lost.
Yeah, Margot, she where we used to live, she like forced it upon me. Like, she just ran out enough times. I'm like, whatever, I can't do this. Like, there's no way.
You let her out?
I had to, because it was just the way it was. You know, she was going to escape if I stopped paying attention for a second and I opened that door, she jets out that door. So it's like, God damn. Because now it's either I go get the cat and I run even more late to whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Or I just allow
Keep
the
her
cat
out.
to be outside for a day. And she never really left. She just kind of roamed the area. So
She'd be okay for that for a day doing that?
she's gotten out here, but I don't like when it happens
Yeah.
because I feel like in Chicago, like I'm not downtown, but still like having her out in this type of environment's a little bit different than like, you know, a rural-ish area in Flint, Michigan, you know.
True.
Completely different.
Never the cars and shit.
Yeah.
Hawks.
Yeah. Here it could be anything.
Or other people just thinking it's a stray cat. Be like, oh, come inside.
Exactly. When I had a neighbor return her to me, actually.
That's a good neighbor.
I'm glad they did it. Like they knocked on the door because I was like worried. She disappeared there was when she went outside for the first time here, and like she wasn't here when I got back, and I knew like if she got out here, there's no way that she didn't come back. Like she would be waiting at the door, so something must have happened. Like I know how she is. She would have been waiting at the door for me. She wouldn't have went anywhere. So either she got abducted, or she like something happened to her, and I was like, I'm not gonna see her, and it made me sad, and I was all sad about it. And then I heard a knock on my door, and I opened the door, and they say, "Do you have a cat?" And I'm so excited, but like at the same time, when I thought about it, I thought like, you know, if they hadn't abducted my cat, she probably would have been waiting at the door for me, and like, you know, I had to go through all that emotional. I'm so lucky that they happen to live like 2 floors above me.
Yeah.
So yeah, Margot. And, you know, Margot, she's got attachment issues. She might not look like it, but she does. She's, I leave, and she's very vocal about it, I hear, you know.
Oh, you hear? I was hearing her meow, so yeah.
She's just, you know, it's just, she's got emotions. People got emotions. She's got emotions. You ever have an emotional animal?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, our dogs are emotional. My family's dog. I had a girlfriend. Her cat was emotional. And that was annoying because, like, it's like always in the mornings. Does your cat get, like, rambunctious at, like, 4 a.m., 5 a.m.?
Luckily, no.
That's good. Because that was always a thing. Waking you up at that, like, to play or to get in your room, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's annoying as shit.
That sounds like that would be a bit much.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want all that. That cat, I would accept that cat, but it would drive me crazy. Margot... You know what? Actually, yeah, she used to be that way. But it's because where I used to live, I had to heat, like, it was just me in this whole house, so I had to heat it. I couldn't heat the whole house because the heat sucked. So I had to, like, heat only the upstairs with the space heater, so I have to keep the door shut. And so it's either Margot's downstairs or she's upstairs. She's either down or she's upstairs. And then I would be, like, doing things, like, recording things like this, and, like, Margot would be at the door, like, scratching, like, rah, rah, rah. And, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, you know, you got to, it's like children. You got to love them, but you also got to, like, you know,
do you have two
rent
cats?
a studio maybe.
Yeah. Do you have 2 cats?
1 cat, 1 dog.
Okay.
I used to have 2 cats, though. Yeah. But your dogs are, what kind of dogs do you have?
I don't know. We had all labs growing up, you know? We had 1 lab, and then they died, and we got another lab. Now my parents have, like, some mutt. It's like a bulldog or a pit bull. It's like a big dog, you know. It's kind of like a lab pit bull thing. Same thing though, just very emotional. Now it's like calmed down finally. Dogs are tough though. I don't think I can have a dog at this point in life.
No,
it's a family dog, so it's like at home. But like all my friends' dogs, it's like their whole life. But do you feel that way? Like you gotta always tend to your dog?
Oh, yeah, yes, because it's like a child. Like I said, like you think of it like you would a child, because really, essentially, it is kind of the same thing. It's like the kindergarten version of a child, you know?
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Because, like, what's the difference? It's like a little soul that you have to take care of, and you have to make sure that its life is worth living and that it enjoys its life, because otherwise, what are you doing with it? Like, it's just there.
Did you have to, like, train them and everything?
Like with my animals, I got lucky. I think my natural demeanor kind of created their natural demeanor. Margot just kind of chills.
Yeah.
And Oscar's good, but he's very nice, but he's a little rambunctious for the camera. So that's why he's not on this episode. So yeah, cool. Luckily though, I never really did too much training, but I'm sure it would help. Like I know that they do it at like places like PetSmart and other places.
I think a dog like that, like a smaller, like I think you need to do that for like the big dogs that where you absolutely like, they're a threat if you don't train them. Like they might kill a cat, you know?
Yeah.
Or a dog walking, but like, you know, I feel like you can rein him in if you need, you know?
Yeah. Because a big dog, big dogs are like
a pit bull or something. Like you gotta get that thing trained. You can't just wing that, you know.
No, because like it's almost in their blood. Like Oscar, his that's my dog. The way that he is a squirrel hunting dog by his breed. So like he will naturally, you take him for a walk, he's gonna look up trees and like want to bark up trees. That's how he is. Like a pit bull wants to fucking kill. That's what a pit bull does.
Yep.
That's what they're bred to do, is murder. And I had a pit bull before, and it did kill cats.
God,
So
that's badass as hell.
it's badass, but it's sad. It's sad when it happens to you, you know.
Yeah, it's sad when it kills a cat. Yeah, I'm sure that's a damper on the day. But I think my parents' dog is part pit bull. It's like a mutt, and there's part pit bull for sure. There's like a little edge to her, you know.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool.
a little edge, and that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll come home like 2 a.m. when I'm home from like comedy, and she'll be growling up the hallway, you know, and like want to rip my head off before she knows it's me. So it's like a good guard dog.
she's ready to kill you every time.
I'm
She
blitzed,
sees
and
you.
I'm just like, come here, you know.
And like as soon as she hears your voice, that's what I'm.
Takes her a second, but yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet. That is like a great guard dog. That's why people get them too. Like, for real, you go to Flint, like a hood. You go to that type of area, pit bulls everywhere.
Are you from Michigan? Is that what you
Yeah,
keep
Flint,
referencing?
Flint, Michigan. I'm from Swartz Creek, Michigan, which is right next to Flint, and then I moved to Flint, and then I moved here.
I was gonna say, cause I was just roasting Flint out of nowhere. He's like, yeah, you
Fuck
could go to
Flint,
fucking
Michigan.
Flint, and you know, so it's like you got a bone to pick with Flint.
Yeah,
so you're
dude.
from there, okay?
Yeah,
That makes
but
sense.
you know, bone to pick from there. But you know, I should like write a diss rap. You know, just like,
I feel like a lot of people already diss Flint.
yeah. It's always every time you bring Flint up, it's always
The water.
The water. Every single time, like without fail, almost like you can feel it coming. And you know what's funny is I always say like we used to, because I'm here. I say we used to be murder just like you guys, because that's what it was. It used to be Flint was one of the murder capitals, and Chicago was one of the murder capitals.
Yeah.
And then it became Flint water. So now we're separated.
What happened with that? Why is it so bad? Is it fracking?
With the murder, it's
The water, the
the
water.
water. I mean, yeah, the water was because the governor. It was like a government oversight thing, and it was the governor is ultimately responsible. But I think there was somebody also who was like a crisis manager or something like. But you know, like they're gonna blame a certain group of people. Like they're going to go for a certain group of people. It's probably like a bunch of people who did a bunch of shit in the end, and these are just the two people that you see that are like the figureheads of the operation.
Yeah.
But that's how it went down. And then I think Michael Moore was from Flint, and he made a big documentary about it. And I guess that's how a lot of people.
yeah.
I think that's how the story really broke, was that. But yeah. So it was because the water was coming from I think it was coming from the Flint River, but it might have been somewhere near Detroit. I want to say it was the Flint River though. Like it was coming from there. They had lead pipes, and the lead pipes were like corroding so the way that the water was, like the toxicity of the water or something about the way that the condition of the water itself made the lead come off of the pipes, and then the lead came in through the water, and then like people are just bathing in lead water, drinking lead water for years and years and years and years until eventually that story comes out. And like I don't even know if it's fully fixed still, is the crazy part. Like for one, they fixed I think they fixed most of the pipes outside of people's houses, but like inside your house, how are you gonna fix that? Because like, are you gonna go in everybody's house and change their pipes because they didn't do it? So who the fuck knows, you know? And then the other thing I always say is that all kinds of cities, you hear things about water. Like you hear about it in Washington D.C. Here they have about Washington D.C. has bad water. I think I've heard things about certain areas of Chicago. You want to get like a certain water thing if you have a certain type of home, and then all kinds of places. So you know, I feel like Chicago, Flint just gets all the rep. You know, we get all the street cred.
You
But
got a good immune system now. Drinking all that shitty flammable water.
that
Is
could
it
be
actually
how you
flammable?
get superpowers.
Was it
you know?
actually like you can light it on fire?
I think
Oh, that's so cool.
That's actually kind of cool, right? You
Yeah.
know? I bathed in water you could light on fire.
Yeah, you got an immune system.
That's literally like a metal song lyric. I bathed in water you could light on fire. But you're right, like the immune system, dude, I'm telling you, like that could be like the superpower thing. You could get superpowers. Or you could get some type of skin condition. One or the other. Because I think like there's something else that like people were saying, like I swear I was reading about it, some condition that a bunch of people are saying they have now and they're accrediting it. to the
To
water.
that, or the cancer.
Yeah, not cancer, but like some weird condition, and like that people were just making the connection that it must come from that. I can't remember what it was called though. I wish.
Well, if
I
they're
knew.
all in the same area getting it, yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly, but the government probably doesn't want to make it look any worse than it already is.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of like, oh no, that's different. that's not the same. And that was not us. That's you guys. Because that's the whole story, really. And what's so crazy, too, is, like, the government didn't really do much to help. Like, you would think that's the part where the government says, like, oh, maybe we should, like, give them a little bit of money to fix this water shit. That never happened.
Never happened.
Instead, Obama shows up, and when this was in Michael Moore's documentary, he was on stage, and he was at, like, a big convention hall in Flint, and he says, like, can I get some water up here? Can I get some water? And somebody, like, gives him, like, he wants a glass of water. He doesn't want a bottle of water. He wants a glass of water. And the whole audience is going, no, don't drink it, Obama. He's like, no, I'm all right. I want to drink this water. This is not a stunt. And then he, like, fake drinks the water. He takes, like, a not real sip. And then he did the same thing, like, 2 days later with Rick Snyder at, like, a round table. Like, they were all sitting together, and then he fake drank the water again as, like, a thing. Like, and I swear he said, this is not a stunt again. I think he said it twice. Like, this is not a stunt. And it's like, dude, this is the most clear
Absolutely
stunt
a stunt
ever.
Yeah.
The stuntest stunt I've ever seen.
Oh my god! It started in Michigan, or Detroit. Detroit, you think?
Well, the water came from either. I think it came from the Flint River, but it might have came from somewhere near Detroit.
Flint River.
Yeah, the Flint River.
Sounds gross.
Yeah. You know what's funny is when I was living there, I would see people kayaking on it. I'm like, that can't be good. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. It's probably, that would build your immune system.
Yeah, the Flint River.
Like body floating down the river.
Bathing in the Flint River. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a couple, like just a little dip in there. There were some good like spots along the Flint River. Like I remember I found a spot once. I'm like, this is nice, but you still would not get in the water.
Yeah, that's like Pittsburgh. All the rivers are all from like the drainage from the mills, so that's like brown.
No,
and people like they go in their boats and stuff on it. They go tubing, and it's just fucking gross.
brown water.
There's a sewage plant right next to me, and there's a river right out of it, and the sewage comes right into it, and people just take their boats. They don't go fuck.
Good for them.
I grew up going tubing in those rivers, dude. It was awesome. I mean, we didn't know. Yeah, I mean, we knew, but we didn't. Yeah, you kind of smell it. It's terrible.
It probably does build your immune system, though, for real.
It makes you not want to fall in. It makes you really good at tubing.
Yeah.
Or like water skiing, like you're not hitting the water.
Did you ever have a tubing or water skiing incident?
Yeah, I jet skiing before. Like, apparently you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be sober. Well, I shouldn't say this on camera, but there was very tough to do with like 3 people. If you don't have all your wits about you, But like it was all good. But yeah, it's like if you flip it. This other time we lost the key. We flipped a jet ski and like the key fell out and went to the bottom of the water. And it wasn't our jet ski, so we just had to like push it back to the dock and tell the owner to get it.
What did he say? How the owner reacted?
I don't know. It was my friend's uncle, so.
Oh, I don't know if that's better or worse. Actually,
Probably better. He just got a angry family member. Nothing new.
Damn, dude. I mean, there's a way you could get it. You'd have to it'd be an adventure to go find those keys. You'd have to put on the goggles and get oxygen, go to the bottom of the river.
Yeah, dude. I like how you turned your room. Like you chose your bedroom to be out there. Like this is solely like the art podcast room. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Because I think this would be the bedroom, right? Like in the design.
Yes. Yes.
Hell yeah,
dude. That's okay. So he said 2 things like that off camera, folks. He gave me compliments. No one ever notices. Okay, that was a 3rd compliment, and no one ever says that. But I call it my studio with the studio. Okay, it's That's genius cool. Because I had to I knew I was gonna do the podcast in here, and then the way I used to do the podcast, I had it was in a house. I had a house rented from my sister, so I had all this space, and I had walls built in a room, and so I had this couch, and I was a little bit farther away, but I knew it's you have to have a corner, and I have to have it like that. And it just wouldn't work if I was gonna do that out there. Mm-hmm. So it's literally all focused on that. But I mean, like even having the TV right there and the computer right here, like it just makes it like a workroom.
And you can hang out in here, like
Yes.
like a living room, basically. And you don't really need, like, yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you, man. Yes,
That's
it was.
cool.
I saw it. I was like, this is the way this has to go, and it worked out pretty well. Like I can't think of how I would change this up too much. I don't
No.
have too. Maybe like I don't know. I don't think I'm allowed to paint in here. You know, someone told me a bookshelf. A bookshelf would be a good idea.
That'd be cool, like right back there. Like,
You
you kind of have a book thing going on. You got books.
Exactly.
You got books out the ass. Jesus.
I know it's a problem almost. I'm like, it's like my hoarding coming out because I live by free books. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I could keep this and use it one day.
Oh, that's where you get them, the free books. Those are sick.
Yeah, because like, what if one day everything like there's a reason I'll need all these books? Who knows? Maybe like I'll move somewhere there won't be free books. Maybe the China attacks,
maybe.
China attacks, and all the power goes out, and I'm like, thank God for all these books.
Might be on house arrest one day. I just read a coffee book that you see, coffee and tea. I'm on house arrest for 4 months. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I read about like fucking the children's encyclopedia as China comes to arrest me.
Probability. Is that why you thought of that word?
Yeah.
To rap? That's funny. It's a word to probability.
Yeah, I was looking around for something. I need some inspiration.
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could rap, dude. You could probably rap. Like, so I bet you could. I feel like most comedians could probably rap if they really wanted to. Again, I think it's close enough to rap. I think like they would be able to do it if someone forced them. If they were drunk. If you got them drunk.
Yeah, especially if you give them time to write the lines, for sure. Freestyling is a whole different thing. Maybe, though. I don't know.
I remember I heard Chris D'Elia like release a rap song once.
Really? Was it good?
It was good. That's what tripped me out. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this actually makes sense
Fuck me,
as a rap song. So I think there's like a lot of potential there. Like, and maybe there's crossover for that. Like, maybe if a comedian like started just dropping a bunch of rap songs, they'd be like that guy.
It's like Lil Dicky kind of. Well, no, Lil Dicky's a rapper. But
Yeah, you'd have to do it your own way. You'd have to find a way to do it your own way. There's got to be a way, you know? Tim Perez, he's like one person I've met who does comedy and music, and I saw him doing stand-up.
Is he a Chicago guy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't know where he's from originally, but yeah, Chicago for sure. And he's a great. I saw him doing stand up. I was like, oh, he has great energy. And then he gave me like a card. And then I found out he did rap, and his rap is like more of a thing for him than his music. So
Wow.
he's at least one person I can think of.
I might
who's
follow him. That rings a bell. Perez? What's his name?
Tim Perez. He has a brother who makes movies, and his name is, I think, Alex Perez.
Interesting.
And it's Kino Crew Productions is the name of their movie thing. Yeah, their movie production company, their movie thing. Maybe I'm being disrespectful. I don't know. I don't know what you call that. A movie production company. They're a magical movie making extravaganza.
Show business company. Yeah.
Show business, folks. You ever like you think like Chicago is where you're like big, your ultimate comedy show business goals lie, or do you think you see yourself like as one of those people traveling the country in like 10 years? Like what's the roadmap?
I don't know. I definitely don't want to stay in Chicago forever. Probably go back to California for a little bit. I definitely want to go to New York for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of an open book. I'm 26 right now. I have a good job here, so I might have to stay here for a minute. California's nice though. It's like warm. People are cool. Girls are pretty. Things are expensive. That's the only drawback, but there's a lot of money to be made out there. You can be washing dishes and still make 50 grand a year. So
Really? Mm-hmm. Really?
maybe not. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, especially in a lot of places.
Wow.
There's just like a lot of money. There's just like the value of the dollar is a lot different out there. So like you call an Uber and it'll be $100 you have to spend. So just relative that to what people make,
Is that how New York is too?
I haven't been there in a while.
Because I know their economy is completely different than here even. Like here, if you go from here to where I'm from, you're like, damn, shit's expensive here. But that's nothing to these places.
This is the cheaper option. Oh yeah, this is like a dream. That's why I moved here instead of New York, because I wanted to go to NYC, but it was just expensive as hell.
Yeah, and like you'd have to, when I moved here, I at least like tried to have something temporary for a minute just in case, because I wanted to get a job, because I don't know how like you'd have to have savings before you move to a major city like that in order to possibly even make it work. I'd have to imagine you have to have a shit ton of savings unless you have a job lined up.
Yeah.
Like, damn, bro, just going to LA and paying like $3,000 for a 1-bedroom. Right? I imagine that'd be like the regular rate.
Get roommates. My friend wasn't paying. He was paying $1,005. You know, roommate. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible at all, especially if you're making that much money.
If you're living in Venice, yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
and it is so nice outside.
That's the thing. It's nice, 24, 7.
Yeah.
12 months out of the year. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I would adapt to that. I would like it, but it'd be so weird to me. I know that LA for comics too. There's just so much opportunity there. I feel like there'd be more opportunity for comics than music, because I think a lot of musicians go to LA. I think like comics, you'd be able to get away with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Justify it better.
A lot of comics moved to LA too. A lot of the comics I met out there that were established were all New York based. They were from New York at some point. Maybe not like, born there, but they lived in New York for maybe 10, 20 years, That was a thing in LA too. I would tell people I did comedy for 2 years, 3 years. Here, that looks like, oh, you know what you're doing. That's 3 years in. You're that's tenured. That's a rookie out there. People are like 10 years in, and if you're not 10 years in out there, you're kind of a rook.
Really?
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Like it's a whole different way that they look at it.
I think just people do it as a career out there. So people are like 15, 20 years in. They're in their 40s. That's all they do, right? They travel. There's like even 5 years in out there, still you're a rookie. 8 years in, you're still kind of a rookie. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting, because my conception of it was that it was like 10 years is like the general, okay, now you're actually a comedian.
Yeah, that's kind of how they see it.
Okay.
10 year, like out here at least, there's rarely comics that you've met that have been doing it 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least ones that are hanging out at open mics,
Interesting.
I guess
really? I never really thought about that. So there's really not many at all. Like you couldn't think of like you.
There's
maybe,
a couple.
There's only a couple.
Yeah, there's not. And if they are, that's not the only thing they do. They're not. They work a business job, or they're a waiter, or they're a bartender, but they also have been doing comedy. Out there, that's all people do. That's the only job they have. It's interesting how I don't know how they make all their money. They travel. I met some lady that did cruise ships. That was interesting.
Like comedy on cruise ships? Yeah. I've heard, I think, have you ever heard Tim Dillon talk about that? He's like the only person I've ever heard really talk about performing on a cruise ship. Because I remember him talking about that, and he was basically saying like how awful it would be.
Yeah.
It does seem like the worst possible place.
She didn't speak up for it. Like, because you're not treated like a guest. You're treated like a cabin member, or you're treated like a crew member. So you're in with the you're in like a bunk with like 8 Guatemalans that are like waiters, and
Real down to earth experience.
so like, and you don't get paid that well, but I don't know, it'd still be kind of cool. Get to go to like the Caribbean.
Yeah, well, that part would be cool, yeah, but I don't think you get to really enjoy a lot of like the actual cruise parts of it. You just kind of have to walk your way along, I suppose. I mean, because like I can't even imagine the people on the boat really like want to see you.
I don't know.
Maybe
that's the only thing there is to do on the boat. Honestly, that's actually it's a big thing on the boat.
Maybe it would be a fun gig.
That's why I became a comedian. I was on a cruise ship as a kid, and there was these comedians.
Yeah,
Like it was awesome. It was like they brought the house down. I was like a little kid. I think that had some very what's it called? Reformative. That was a thing that meant more as I didn't know. That was like whatever it's called for later in life. That would like make me want to do it later in life. I had no clue.
Yeah.
But I saw it as a kid, and I gotta say it was a pretty good show.
Just because of what? Like, what was it that they were doing? Do you remember?
I was like just a kid. I was like 7. It was the first time I was in, and it's like the first time you go to like a football game and you're a kid. It's like a spectacle. you know? And it's like you don't realize what this is, but there's some dude just talking and everyone's laughing. And he was having stuff that like made me laugh as like a 7-year-old. So that was interesting. Who the hell was calling me? Just James. But yeah.
Dude, that's interesting. Yeah. Because
It's the first time I got that concept of what comedy is.
that's cool that you got it
I
live
was
though.
on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
And
On a cruise ship.
Obviously, I'd see it later, you know, on TV and stuff. But that was cool because I was confused at first, like, what is this thing? You know, it was interesting. So I gotta say, cruise ship comedy is good.
It justifies itself.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I guess in that story, I mean, that kind of blows my mind a little bit. It makes me want to. It makes me want to endorse it rather. Before I would have been against it, but this conversation maybe makes me flip on that one politically. Maybe I would endorse the cruise ship comedy because before I thought that sounds really bad, but it sounds like it could have beautiful effects on people. It sounds like it could be good for you.
takes
I don't know.
talent too. They do a half hour clean and then they do a half hour for the adults. Or like an hour clean and then like an hour for the adults.
What? That's cool.
I don't think I could do that. You know what I mean? Maybe not yet. I've done an hour before, but I couldn't do it all clean.
Yeah, that would take a lot, especially like because you're performing to that like a certain like a niche kind of audience too.
Families.
Yeah, families on a cruise ship. So you have to figure out like how you the transition to dirty would be fun. You basically just do all your normal stuff now.
Right?
Yeah. Some comics can do clean. I mean, how do you can't really if you had to do clean for like 5 or 10 minutes, could you do it, you think?
I think I could. I have enough, maybe, but it'd be tough to. I haven't in a long time.
Are there a lot of places that even require that?
Not around here, no. In LA, there is.
Really?
Like couple, yeah. Like the Laugh Factory for one. I think they changed after Kramer said all the N words and stuff.
Right.
Now, it's like clean comedy, at least for like the open mics.
Really, since then? That was
I don't
a while
know if
ago.
it's since then, but yeah, I didn't go.
I'm surprised that I heard something about when I had Frank Vega on the podcast. He told me that at Laugh Factory here they have a rule where it's like you can't say something that a 14-year-old wouldn't understand or something like that. I swear.
Never heard that. Never got in trouble there though. So
Okay, because
that's a good rule. I like that rule.
What does that
Hey,
rule
buddy.
mean though? Like, what does that even really mean?
It's just like something that's like, it should be PG-13 and up, like, or so it can't be like. It's not something like I don't know exactly. A 14-year-old would understand. Oh, like interesting. I actually have no clue.
Because I think it's like saying like dumb it down and like don't be too inappropriate. Like I think that's what they're trying to say politely. Like I think they're trying to say like keep it simple.
Something a 14-year-old could hear, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what they maybe mean? Of like.
I would assume it means like what? Yeah, like what you would want to. I don't really know. It's kind of a weird rule when I think about it. I'm trying to understand it because what I think they're trying to say is just be appropriate. I think they're just saying like be a certain level of appropriate. I think, but it could also mean like don't say something too like complicated. Like maybe I don't know. I don't know like how many rules. I think comedy's interesting too because like you can break certain rules, but you have to subscribe to a certain amount of other rules. You can't break all the rules. You
Yeah.
can only break so many rules at once, and then you have to be kind of good at it to even break rules, right? Like I mean, how long have you done comedy now? Then not
2.5, 3 years.
2.5, 3 years. What was it like when you first started doing comedy?
That's kind of cool you said that. Because I feel like I was better before I knew what the rules were, because I didn't know what rules I was breaking. So I was just kind of doing what. I think the more unaware you were, the more creative you were, because you're not really aware of any lines.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And you're just allowed to just. And I try to still adhere to that, because a lot of people have this rule book and of like what's your can and can't do. If it's funny, So. Yeah, I think early on, I think my writing was more free just because I didn't know what I didn't know. So I was more confident. It was like ignorant confidence, but it worked in my favor being that young. Being that early into it, I probably would have been more nervous if I knew what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Because you would be like going into it, like thinking about all the things you can't do.
Exactly. So I think it allowed me to be less in my head.
Yeah, you kind of would rather at first. Margot, don't do it. Don't do it, Kat. Don't do it. Margot, don't do it. She's going to try to burrow into there. But you kind of, at first, you do want to, like, not... I think, like, that's kind of, like, the art of, like, freestyling. And the art of getting into that kind of mindset is you get into that habit of not overthinking things and not, like, getting too much into that thought process of what you can and cannot do, right? Because, like, if you overdo that, you'll fail. You won't freestyle. It's kind of like, in a sense, like the rules of improv are that. It's just to say yes and to respond to things rather than like not do that. And that kind of philosophy does make like a lot of sense. So like in my mind, that's the way you have to do it. But like, especially at first though, because if you were just starting and you were concerning yourself with like 10 million things at once, you would fail. Definitely. You think about you say though you're thinking about way more things now than you were thinking about then. Like you're considering all these different factors than you would have thought when you first started. Like I mean, I imagine what are those factors? Like the audience. That would be like, you know, does this how long do I have? I have 5 minutes. So what can I say in 5 minutes? Like building a set.
Structure of a joke.
That.
Yeah.
What is it?
Structure of a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no structure at first, I image. No.
Yeah, there was, but it was natural. You know, just natural timing, you know?
Yeah.
It's still, I didn't even know I was writing good jokes, but they ended up being good in hindsight, you know?
Yeah.
I think, like, I don't know. I think that chicken before the egg. I don't know. I think good timing is good timing. But now I think, like, I don't know. It's interesting. I wrote a lot of good jokes early on that I didn't know was adhering to all these classic rules. But now that I know, it's almost like you're thinking of the rules rather than like material. It's weird.
There's some quote that's like what is it? Like to learn all the rues and then break them. Like something about that.
Oh, I think I heard that.
Yeah, I think it says it at Second City on the wall somewhere. I think it really, I'm pretty sure it does. I can't remember who said it though. But that's a great way to learn everything and then kind of slowly break those rules. Because you don't really want to follow, like if you do the same thing that everybody else is doing, you're going to be that guy. You're going to be the generic person that's doing the same thing.
Yeah, it won't be original. That's another thing about the rules.
Yep.
If you stay in them or even adhere, trying to break all of them, that's not even original, you know?
Yes, exactly. You know, I think about that because like people, I think Andy Kaufman is one of the most legendary people of all time in entertainment, but that's just because he kind of established how to break rules at all, like how to make it the whole thing is that you're just breaking the rules. And he's one of the few people to ever do that properly. Like, it's like the first internet troll ever. Like, truly. There's nobody who really did that correctly before him, I'm pretty sure. And so, but now people do that all the time and they fail. They're trying to go out there and they're trying to be like, oh, look at me, I'm so subversive. But that becomes the shtick, is that they're trying to be subversive. Like, they think they're Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
They think they are.
And you can see it from a mile away. It's hilarious. Well, it's not, but yeah.
They think it is.
They think it is, yeah.
I mean, like, you know, and the thing is, there's like a level to it. Like, to a certain point, you have to believe in yourself, but at a certain point, also, you have to actually, like, adhere to some type of standard here. Like, we have to go with, like, people are expecting something.
That's interesting.
Because it's, you know, I feel like, you know, comedy is an interesting thing in that some music is, because it's really about your individual take on it. It's about how you're able to take this thing and kind of personalize it and put yourself through this lens and do that. And like, if you're good at it, you become really good at that, at making yourself like good at explaining these thoughts and being coherent and being funny. And like, you just chisel that down over a long time. That's why it's like 10 years, because it takes that long to get good at something like that, which is crazy. But I think they're right. Like, I think it actually takes that long, just like music. You think you're really good at first. Like, I'm sure in comedy, like in the first like 2 years, you're like, you know what, I'm the shit. I've done this a long time. But it's like the same thing as everything else. In 10 years, you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, I did not know what I was doing yet. You almost want to be happy that like your career never picked up until you were 6 years in. Like, but comedies and music and all these things. Art is a strange animal. You know, I there's probably some comedians that got great really early. I think someone told me Louis C.K.
Yeah, they were
really
naturals and stuff, but a lot of them didn't get big until 10 years in. Like they were
you're
good
right.
for a long time, but they got famous. Like Bill Burr's a good example of that. He was doing it since the 90s, but it wasn't until like 2007, 2008 people started noticing, you know, but he was in his 40s.
I know that Philadelphia rant was like a big
That's
thing.
kind of what put him on the map, you
Yeah.
know, things like that. Even Matt Rife has been doing it for a long time. You know who that is? Like the young guy. He's like the handsome young guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a comic. He's been on the prowl for like 5 years, 6 years. He's just got famous for stand up like this year. So
Was it this year or was it a couple of
it
years
was kind
ago
of
now?
last year, I guess.
But it
Yeah,
happened so fast. He was just here in Chicago just like the
yeah.
other
He
day.
sold out like a bunch of the stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
He's he's kind of one of those people where it's like people get mad because they think he got popular really fast. But like again, he's been working in for like 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah.
You just don't realize because he wasn't popular during all that time. You know, and like that's probably where he's developed all those crowd work skills too, just to get where he's at now. Like there's no way he was that good at crowd work right away, because that's kind of his whole thing in a way now, is that he just manages to do crowd work. But still, like even if that's your thing, that's actually a lot of pressure. That's like you have to freestyle every
I think he's
single
pretty
time.
good at it. Yeah,
And he's good at it. Yeah, he
I gotta say,
he pulls
not
it
to
off.
be a pro Matt Rife guy, but I gotta say it's pretty decent. He was on Route Wild and Out, you know.
He was on Wild 'N Out?
Yeah,
No. I did not know that.
that's where he was like famous from. Not famous, but yeah, that was like one of the big things.
Really?
Yeah,
What? That actually kind of blows my mind, because that's like I know Theo Von was on Real World. I never knew Matt Rife was on Wild 'N Out.
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Matt. He was just known as Matt. You know, he was like the white guy. He was funny though on it. Yeah,
Was he the same?
yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool.
Good for
So
him.
he's been going for a while. You know, he didn't have the jawline back then.
That developed over time.
Yeah, I think it was plastic surgery.
You know, you don't become Thor overnight. That doesn't just happen. Would you want to be on one of those shows if they like offered to be on Real World or
That'd be
something
pretty
like
cool to get some sustainable paycheck. You know, be on TV. My cousin was on a Too Hot to Handle. That was kind of. I mean, that's like a dumb reality show, but like, he was one of the people I stayed with out there in Cali, and that's like an interesting life because a lot of people knew who he was, but he basically. I hope he doesn't see this, but like he doesn't make a lot of money from it, you know.
Yeah.
So he was still like working as like a waiter, but like we'd go to all these clubs and he'd get in for free, you know, get like bottle service because he's like a celeb, but you know he was, you know, not. He gets like he gets a lot of free shit, but he doesn't get cash, you know.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of the perk.
So, but like he makes most of his money off of what? Just like serving is what it is?
Yeah, he's like a bartender, you know, but he has like a YouTube channel and like a bunch of millions of followers on TikTok. So he gets like advertisements,
Yeah.
but advertisements just send him free shit.
I wonder, there's got to be a way to like, because it's always just about like what you do with all those people. There's got to be a way. Like maybe you could like make shirts or something.
Merchandise, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why all those YouTube people will push all that stuff. Buy merch. That's the only way you get money.
Yep. Patreon. That's the other one that I'm like praying on for at least this right here. Because it's like podcasts really, a lot of comedians now, you'll see that. That's how, with comedians, how you make money other than getting spots. It's like either you sell merchandise, you sell tickets, or, you know, now there's like podcasts with Patreons.
Yep.
Like, that's what they'll do. And they'll put stuff behind paywalls or whatever they want to do. But like it's tons of, it almost seems like the next like trajectory for comedians. It makes
Yeah.
sense to me. Because I mean, like what else? If the problem is that everybody has to like, most comedians, they don't. Like, I'm just lucky. I just have music equipment. I make music.
Oh, that's
But, like,
cool.
Yeah, most comedians don't have all that. So that's kind of the problem. I think that's why most comedians don't have a podcast already. I think most comedians would do it.
Yeah. I was on like the Bad Comedy podcast. They have a good setup. They do.
I've seen that.
Yeah, they have a nice setup and everything. They're a Chicago-based podcast.
I like the way that they do their
They have
stuff.
A,
Yeah.
They have a good setup. Yeah. And what's it called? I'm trying to think of other comedians that have like. There's not a whole lot. There's a couple comedians that have podcasts, but you're in a good market for sure.
Yeah. Just because like
They
people.
have a Patreon. That's why I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
They probably have a good bit of money coming in from the Patreon.
Oh, they do.
So
I should look and see like how they're doing that, because like you could do different perks. Like I wonder if they're doing exclusive content.
they do.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do. They have, I think, a YouTube channel too. But yeah, I don't know. They have like you can see some videos for free on Patreon, and then the other ones are behind the paywall.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
That's fun. That's fun. Because I mean, like, it makes sense. It makes sense if you like wanted to actually make money off a podcast. That's the only way other than advertisers.
And it probably wouldn't even be at that specific scale. It probably even not making a profit, but just keeping the lights up. You're paying for the podcast to run.
Unless you get enough. Because think about it.
Exactly.
It's like $5. So you just need 400 people to pay $5. That's $2,000 a month.
True.
Right there. Like, it's really not that many.
It's
if you
true.
could just get that many people to do it. That's why I think like the successful podcasts I think it's like Matt and Shane's secret podcast. I think that's the top one. I think it's Shane Gillis's podcast that makes the most on their Patreon. I know his 3 Hyenas, that was making a ton of money at one point.
How much does the Matt and Shane one? I'm curious.
I wish I knew. It's
Yeah.
got it. I wonder if they even release it. That's a great question, though.
I'm curious, like what the views.
Let's see if it actually comes up, because it might be a secret. You know, this is when my podcast, when the Patreon picks up, I'll have a guy that'll look all this stuff up for us.
Jamie. Hey, Jamie, look that up.
Yeah, I used to say that joke all the time, because truly, I just want a Jamie. That's all I want. Matt and Shane's secret podcast. How much money? How much money? I bet they got to tell me. They got to tell me. Several $1,000s per month, although the exact figure is not publicly disclosed.
7,000 viewers a month.
Several $1,000s.
Oh.
That's not as much as several could mean all kinds of things. They could be saying like 30,000. Several thousand might mean 20,000. It could mean like 2,000. So I'm gonna guess that they're making like at least 10K a month.
Yeah, I would look at like the last views of like the groups. I might do that later. How many views? Can you see views on Patreon?
You can't see view. You can see the amount of people. I think it lets you choose. So you can either put like the amount of viewers or the amount of views, but the amount of followers you have, and then the amount of money you make.
Gotcha.
You can put both of those.
Interesting.
But you don't even have to share either. You could just make it so they don't even know. So I think I don't think you'd want to share how much money you make, but I do think it makes sense.
That'd be funny. Just
I mean, and Patreon takes like 10%, but I mean that does make sense for their business model. That does make sense. So they're taking like, if you get $5, you really get $4. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. But I mean, I don't know how a comedian would do it without a podcast. I don't know what you'd do. Like maybe you could do like skits only for the Patreon. You can hear every single open mic. Listen to me bomb. That'd be a fun little perk, you know.
I hear people trying to do that. They're trying to like stream their open mics, which is a good idea, but I don't know who would want to. I don't even want to see an open mic when I'm there, let alone.
It's a traumatic experience.
Yeah, let alone tune in from home. You know.
Yeah, some people are into that. You know, some people.
Sorry.
I mean, I would record it just for me, just because like either you could save it for later, or if it's like a good clip. But like streaming it is different. Like if you're just doing a live on like Instagram, I don't think that's as worth it. You know?
Yeah, that's just. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think James might have been mentioning that, so I take that back. My bad.
Yeah. Are you and James close? Like you guys hang out a lot?
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah. He told me he was going to take me to New York once. So maybe he forgot about that, but he did mention that. So I need to remind him.
It's a good place to go with him because he's from there.
Yeah. I'll be like, please help me here. I have no idea where I am. I'm disoriented.
Yeah. You came to that show, right?
The one where you performed in his apartment?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah. It's cool. That's a cool ass venue that he turns into. That's his apartment that he owns, and he just turns it into like a fucking whole ass venue. It's
Yes. Shout
great.
out Cozy Corner.
Yeah, Cozy Corner on Saturdays.
And it's 2 weeks from the day we record this.
Yep.
Is when the next one is.
Yeah.
Which when this releases, it'll still be coming up, folks. You can reserve a seat maybe still.
Yep.
I don't know.
$5 tickets. I'm not going to be on that one, so it'll be funny for sure. Yeah.
It's a great little, like, what makes it work so well is that his apartment really is like the perfect setup for it. Like, that's what I was telling him.
It's cozy.
It's cozy. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a cozy corner. It actually, works because my apartment, I don't think you could have like you probably couldn't cram 25 people in here. His apartment, you just can, and his apartment and his neighbors let him. So
they came to the show. I was like, who are those old people that they live upstairs?
oh, they did come.
Yeah, that was cool.
Hell
I was wondering
yeah.
these old people right in the front row were. They were laughing at the raunchier stuff. So good for them.
It was probably the highlight of their whole fucking week, dude. My neighbor's having a comedy show downstairs. Like,
Yeah, they were
this
just
is
checking it
awesome.
out to make sure he wasn't fibbing. He's this kid for real. He's just having a party and doesn't want to tell us. Yeah.
James is a cool guy though, and like that takes a certain amount of gumbo. You know, it takes a certain amount of go-getterism.
Yeah,
to be able to do such.
He
a
sold a good bit of tickets. In
Yes.
packed house. Because it's tough to sell tickets. I'll tell you that.
He's this second one he did, or the couple of last ones he did. He was selling tickets on not Ticketmaster, but Eventbrite. Yeah,
That's where a lot of shows are on.
But some people showed up and they said that they saw it on Eventbrite, and that's like how they found out about the show. They were just trying to find something to do that night.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
That is why they were there. So, and it was just like a couple. It was just like a dude and a chick, you know. And it was a sweet little thing. I mean, I've noticed with comedy, it's kind of like sometimes you want smaller, intimate venues like that. Sometimes that's actually way better than having like a giant room. Mm-hmm. You want everything kind of tight and close. Like Red Room's nice for that, but also just like an apartment is nice for that. Everybody's kind of close together. Because people spread out. Like at a bar, people will spread the fuck out.
Oh yeah, I hate bars. I hate bar shows, but they're fun in some. Yeah, but you're exactly right. Yeah, I did a show in West Virginia. They saw the Facebook ad for it, and that's how they're like, yeah, we were just looking on Facebook Market or some Facebook events, and we saw this advertisement. And I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's like the one reason they came.
Yeah, that's the other. Yeah, they didn't even know who it was really, but.
Because it makes you think like, oh, maybe I should do that shit more. Like maybe I should remember to do that. That's what I think when people like, you know, like with posting on social media, like I'll forget to do it, but it's even like on like TikTok. There are people who only know me from TikTok. There's like Snapchat. Cool. I'll post on Snapchat. And there's people who only know me from that. And it could just be like little things, like just little clips, like whatever the fuck. But like people, I kind of think about it like little entry points. Like people find out about you different ways, you know. There's and you just create more ways for them to find you, you know, because there's a million ways they could, and you never know what it is. You really never know. It could be any fucking thing. Because then you think about like too, like when did you find out about X, Y, or Z? Like when did you find out about so and so the comedian? It's always some random thing you saw at some point, you know. So, like, when I really think about it, like, when I first see, like, Shane Gillis, it would have to be right when all that SNL shit happened.
Yeah.
You know, just like everybody else, pretty much. But it's things like that. Like, it's just always some random thing you would never expect it to be. I'm sure he was never thinking he's going to get rejected from SNL. And that's going to be how my career takes off.
End up being the best thing to happen to him. Yeah.
Yeah. It happens in funny ways. And it's a whole different landscape now, I think. Like with comedy in particular, than it was like 10, 15 years ago. It's kind of weird. I think it's in a weird spot. That's why I say the podcasting thing. Because like you have a bunch of comedians doing podcasts and making money off of that. But it's not really so much about like getting a big special on HBO or getting on a show or getting like a bunch of money to be on a thing. Yeah, it's more about like developing a following through other means. That seems to be the goal for comedians now, which is not what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
You couldn't. There was no platform for it. You'd have a mailing list or something.
Yeah, like I wonder if it's for better or worse. It's probably for better. You'd probably have a lot more people popping up that way.
Oh, it's for the better. But yeah, it's more polluted, but that's okay. It gives you more reason to like be original, stand out, you know.
It makes you stick out more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
makes you want to, need to, you know.
Yeah. What is your approach to comedy then? Like, how do you think of it when you write? Do you have a way?
Just whatever's funny.
Yeah.
I don't overthink it. Yeah, whatever I think's funny has to make me laugh first. If it doesn't make me laugh, then it's not gonna make anyone else laugh. So it kind of comes, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to act like it's fucking philosophy. It's a dick joke. Calm down. You know, I've seen comedians be like, "Oh fuck, I forgot the anal joke." It's like, shut up. This is our art form. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. You know,
There's a balance. There's a balance because, like, in a way, I'm proud of them for taking it serious. But in another way, it's like it was an anal joke.
Let's have fun with it. It's literally our job's fun. Our job's to make other people have fun. It's, you know, see it like that. It's we're not saying poetry, you know. They're not talking about the war. Maybe you can. I don't know. But that's kind of my approach. Just make it fun. People paid to get away from life, you know, or at least be like in an enjoyable mood, right? That's like they're paying to laugh. You know, if I got tickets to like an emo show, I'd be paying to like feel like shit. You know,
And that would be normal.
yeah. I wouldn't want the singer cracking up jokes if I went to go see like Hollywood Undead. You know, but
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, okay, that's interesting. So just be funny. See, yeah, and I think people, but even in that, like, I think people obsess over that, and then they try really hard to just be funny, and then they kind of become like a parody of themselves in this way. Like, you'll see them do it. They'll be trying to overdo themselves, and like they're trying to like capitalize on those zany parts of themselves, and they kind of like become like a characterism of what they were.
yeah,
They try to be funny, or like they'll turn it on, and sometimes that works, but sometimes it's like a little corny. I know what it is because I've seen it.
exactly.
So even that, like, learning to be yourself properly is not. I think I've heard it said with comedians, it's like a certain amount of years before you even feel comfortable on a stage. And I
You
think,
find your voice, they say.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure that has to be real.
They say 10 years you find your voice or
That's
something.
what they
like
say. 10.
that. I've heard that, yeah.
Damn.
I don't know.
Yeah.
James had a good point. He's like, your voice is just the voice in your head, which really is interesting for any new comics out there. If you're trying to find your voice, just like think about the voice that's like your inner monologue is your voice. So that's interesting because mine is interesting. So yeah, try that.
Yeah, because like whatever's going on in your head at the time
Boom, 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 boom.
is your inner voice. So it would be like, okay, see, that's interesting. That's a good way to look at it. The more I think about that, the better that is, because it's kind of like a Zen philosophy. It's kind of like whatever you are thinking is the correct thing to say. Don't overthink it. Just like that. Like whatever is going to naturally come to your mind is the correct thing. It's whatever's in your head. That is your voice right now.
Yeah,
And when you try to
first
stray
thing.
from that and try to do something else and be a thing, that's when you start to lose that. Yeah. But that's a hard art to master, that right there, because I have to imagine, like, you know, you're always, as I think with comedy in particular, you have to entertain. You have to make people laugh, and people get caught up in that. And I think that's why they get like pissed at themselves, and like they bomb and they get so mad because they didn't get the reaction that they were trying to get. Like if I'm doing music, I can get over it. I don't care. But in comedy, it's like they just stared at you.
That's the thing. There's an instant reaction to comedy. Like music, they could be like, good job, but be lying. But like for comedy, it's like they laughed or they didn't, you know? There's no in between there.
And it would hurt. I bet it would hurt a little bit. But like you're saying, though, it's better to just not even think about it that way. It reminds me of, I didn't love that movie, but at the end of the Joker movie, the new one where he says that I used to think life was a tragedy, now I think it's a comedy. That is a great way to look at things.
It's a good line, yeah.
Yeah, like don't think of it as like a tragic thing. Think of it as like, it's just something you can laugh at, you know? And when you see all these ridiculous things happen, it's funny because it's so ridiculous. Like it's all just so comedic that it even happens at all. the circumstances that led to the moment you're in, most of that is pretty funny. The fact that it even was possible to happen, you know. The fact that OJ killed those people, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You might not have been born. There's a butterfly effect, you know. Like there's all kinds of shit,
wild.
dude.
Yeah.
The world is crazy. But I think that's kind of the beauty of comedy too, is it allows you to laugh at those things. It allows you to view things in such a way, you know, like the craziness of everything.
Yeah.
That's why people need to go to comedy and go out for a night and just have a good night and laugh, because there's a good aspect to that, you know. They want to see people who aren't just freaking out. Make sure they're not crazy.
Yeah, makes light of the situation. Like, yeah, you don't have to not talk about it, but make light of it. Make people realize there is funny parts to it. Completely. But yeah, the OJ thing, that's funny.
Yeah, OJ, man. OJ is just a character entirely. Like, it's kind of sad that he's gone now because he was having a resurgence on Twitter. He was coming back.
TikTok, yeah.
Yeah, like the OJ revival. The fact that we live in a world, dude. Like, that's what's so comedic about this all. The fact that we live in a world where OJ can come back on TikTok.
He was like doing Mahomes impressions and stuff. It was awesome.
That is golden, man. I would try to get him on my podcast. I would be that guy.
He was on podcast. He was making
He was
a
on Full
podcast.
Send. I know he was on Full Send, and they were asking him questions. So like, when you killed that girl, it's like, bro, you get up a couple frat guys, and you have them ask OJ questions. Like, it's actually a perfect explanation of how the world is now.
Yep.
I love it. I love when I see things like this, man. It makes me happy. You know, when Longneck was from Flint, if you remember Longneck.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great, like, icon of that year. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Flint Water, you know, shout out Flint Water. You know, you got Longneck out there representing. But yeah, man, that was a good year for Flint right there, you know. And then, again, like those types of people. You got Whoa Vicky got viral for saying she was half black, if you remember her. Or she was black. She identified as black. She was the first person to really do it. There's so many. There's Baby Grok. There's like these
Baby Gronk's from Michigan.
Oh no, I'm just listing these people now. This torture chamber that is TikTok. Because dude, it actually is crazy, like the level to which it has gotten. You know, because you'll see kids now, and they'll want to be popular, but they don't know what they want to be popular for. They just like have seen that you can go viral on TikTok for posting bullshit, and they're like, oh, I want to do that. They don't actually like have a thing they want to do. They just like want to be that guy that gets a million views. Like, you'll ask them, you'll be like, why do you want that?
It's
they don't
the
actually
parents
know.
a lot of the time too. Like the parents just like see it as a cash cow, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's no different than Honey Boo Boo back in the day.
There's so many of those weird kids channels too, where it's like it's an adult and they have kids and they're clearly making all this money off of it. Mm-hmm. But like the kids are like, I'm always thinking like the kids are signing contracts for this. Like they're not saying like they're like, I guess it's okay. I guess like, there's no legality surrounding this, but it is kind of weird to like. You have like a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they're like, all right, guys, we need to make a video to make money this week. What are we going to do? You're workshopping with them in the kitchen before breakfast. Like, that's a crazy scenario. Again, though, the beautiful comedic American dream right there.
Beautiful American dream.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to happen sometime, right? There's got to be a struggling family that's going to make some money. So how are they going to do it? Be like, okay, this week I saw one where they were going up to the window on their toy cars and they were handing them like beach balls and stuff out the window. Like, oh, hold on, let me get you what you ordered. You know, it's very adorable, but at the same time, I'm thinking like this is kind of like slave labor.
It's just sad. Yeah, it's like the kids on the train handing out candy.
Yeah, and like you know, the adult behind the camera is going, "Good job." Good job. Do it again. Oh, wait. 3 more takes. You got it this time. Just don't look at the camera.
Just don't look at the camera.
Relax. You know, the director's really harsh. Stop crying. You got this. That would get bad quickly. I can only imagine, dude. Like, you have to make money that week. You have to. There's nothing else you can do. And Tommy is not cooperating. There was this one channel, you probably haven't heard of it. It was, I think it was called Family 05. And it was like a YouTube channel with a dad with kids. And he was like, they were bullying the one kid. It was like almost, it was borderline abuse. It was like they were bullying the kid and they were all being really mean to him. And like the kid was like, but it was like they were trying to like make it part of the video, like it was part of the joke, is that they would always pick on him.
Yeah.
But it was clearly like the kid's getting emotionally traumatized.
One-sided,
like they're
yeah.
telling him, hey, why did you do this? And he's like, He's like, why did you do this? Why did you do this? You're grounded. And then he breaks the Xbox in front of him, or he like, throws the
Rings
Xbox
a bell. I
on the
feel
wall.
like I've seen that. Yeah.
It's some crazy shit. It probably got deleted and then re-uploaded. It'll still be out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm saying it goes. Like that's the climax of that all is you get a family like that. Some families are not meant to be broadcasted. Probably most of them.
No.
Probably most families. You know, I am a subscriber to the belief There's probably no normal family. It probably doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because people think it exists. People think like, oh, I wish I had a normal family. I don't think that's actually a real thing. Maybe. But even then, like, what is a normal family? Like, what are we calling that? Like, just a family where everybody's cool and good? That seems weird to me. That seems like the weird one. If everybody was just chill and barely, just got along and it was kind of like normal and all just kind of manual, like, you kind of want some drama. You kind of want some, like, family drama. You want some stuff to go on. You need that, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like a normal family would suck. You don't get good art from a normal family.
No.
No, you don't get Shakespeare. You don't get O.J. Simpson. You just don't. Maybe you do, but most of the time you don't. There's just got to be a statistic to that, especially comedy too. Again, with comedy, it's always like some type of. It was never like, oh, I grew up in like a well put together house. Rarely is it that. It just rarely, which is probably a good thing, I mean, it makes me think like, it's kind of a dilemma when you have kids. It's like, do I want my kids to have a great life where everything's good? Or do you want your kids to struggle so they understand and then they grow through that struggle? Because nobody wants their kids to struggle. But that's not what makes you great. You have to struggle.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and open mics are a way to struggle all the time. They're a way. It's kind of like a torture chamber comedians put themselves through personally.
Just put my kid through open mics once he's 18.
You're 3 years old now. You're ready. You can speak. You can form sentences. You could probably get a premise out. We'll workshop it in the kitchen before we film our videos. We'll make it happen. You could probably, that could be the thing. Like, you could have this stand-up comic child. No one's done it yet.
There was a dad that was bringing his kid around for a little bit to the open mics. He was like 14, 13. He was pretty good.
Nah. Yeah, I mean, it's all...
Some fucking Indian kid.
If he's good, he's good. If he's good, then it's great.
You could tell I heard the dad wrote some of the jokes, but I don't care.
Hey, that kid's getting some good practice.
That kid's getting pussy, dude. He's like, what'd you do? He's going back to school. He's like, yeah, I spent my Wednesday at a bar. Hell yeah, dude. Good for him. Sandeep, whatever his name is.
People probably wouldn't even believe you if you went to school. You were like, yeah, I do stand up at bars at night. Like, dude, you're 13. Shut up. You're lying. That's how it would go in my school. Everybody would think he's bullshit. He'd have to pull in pictures and videos. He'd have to show me. I would not believe him unless he had proof. Because, like, that's something a 13-year-old who would lie would say.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the coolest thing ever if you're 13. To do stand-up at a bar. That's actually awesome. And if you think about it, that 10-year rule, dude, he's set. Like, if he starts at 13, when he's like 17, he'll be like seasoned. And then when he's like 23 he'll be a solidified comedian.
10-year comic. That's awesome, actually. Yeah, 23.
That's a great way to start your career. That's why 3 years old is such a good idea.
I think Chris Rock did that. He was like 13, 14.
No shit. Really?
Yeah.
Chris Rock seems like that kind of guy. He seems like he must have started a long time ago. Wow, that's impressive. Yes, so 3 years old. That's my pitch, okay? Just think about this with your first kid. Because you can start really early. 13, you're a 10-year comic. 13. Just think about the potential there. You could be like, you could create the best comic of all time this way. Somehow. You get him early in development. Yeah. I don't know. With the stand-up thing in Flint, or in Chicago, the stand-up in Chicago, I never asked you back. What do you think of the community here? Do you find it to be like inviting? Do you find it to be that way?
It's great. You have to earn your spot. They're not inviting to just anyone. I think I've noticed the better I do, the more inviting people are. So it feels earned. You know. So like, I think it's good. It's not for nothing. I think if you have to hold your own weight. You have to kind of carry your own weight, and people respect it. Because it's their time too. If you're gonna get up there, they're waiting for them to go up. So if you're gonna waste their time, or if you're going to spend their 5 minutes, it better make it good. At least new.
That's a good point.
For other practicing artists. So.
But that kind of like adds pressure too.
Completely.
In this weird way. Like, even though it's just an open mic, it's like, what the fuck is this guy? Yeah. You kind of like, you become a hater in a little bit of a way.
And versus like Pittsburgh, where no one's really trying to do, I mean, they're trying them, but it's like, if you try hard, they almost dislike you for trying. Versus It's like oh, you're trying hard in gym class mentality, you know?
Oh, really? They don't like it?
Nah, it's like weird. James is calling. I might have to go soon because I have to meet up. There's a Steeler game on.
Oh, okay. Is there a certain time?
In a I got to meet him in like a half hour. So
Okay, we can wrap this up in like 5 minutes or so.
hell yeah.
But
I'm meeting him. Yeah, it's like the thing's at 8. And I'm meeting him somewhere at 7:30 because to get there at the bar, Steelers bar, baby, go Steelers.
7:30. Oh shit! So you got like okay.
We're good.
Steelers bar, go Steelers. Are you a fan of sports?
You see, I follow him for the hometown pride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I am a fan, but I'm not gonna like ruin my week over it.
Yeah.
But I'll watch just because like I want my city to do good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that's interesting. So you never were really into it, but it's almost like reminds you of home in this way.
Yeah, exactly right.
That makes sense.
And yeah, I didn't care. I would still watch the football games at home, but like it was whatever. It was so drilled in. Like everyone watching football was just a part of life, you know. So it's like you would just watch it all the time anyway. So like I almost kind of get content for it because it's like all people talk about. But now that I'm away from it, it's like yeah. It's ingrained in me to like watch the game. You know, it's like weird if I don't.
It's deep within your soul in this strange way.
Yeah.
It comes out. Yeah, that's interesting because, yeah, so there was a lot of it back then. Like when you were there, it's all over the place.
All over
like,
the
fuck
place.
this is people are taking this shit too serious. It's just sports.
It's just sports. Yeah, like I like being like yeah. There's more going on than just the football game. You know.
Yeah.
So like yeah, I don't know. You don't like sports?
I like sports, but I've never really gotten into it. Like I can understand why someone would. Mm-hmm. The more and more I go through life, the more and more I understand it. Because like I used to think of it as like a purely like tribalistic thing. Like really, you just like a team and you want that team to win. But I think it's more than that. I think there's something about like attaching yourself to certain athletes or like just the pure athleticism of a sport. Like especially in other countries where soccer is so big. Like it's not just the sport, it's like what the sport represents. Like there's something deep about that connection. Like they're really into soccer, bro.
Cultural spirits. Yeah.
Like it keeps like people together in this way. So there's something nice about it. Whereas like, you know, football is a community of its own. Like people, I never even realized sports betting is something that's keeping half these people going. I mean,
keep me broke. I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's why they'll never convince me. Okay,
Yeah.
They can tell me a million times this parlay is going to make me a millionaire. I'll say but people get really into this shit, and so like I enjoy sports, but I've never really been able to. Professional wrestling is where you can realize how much of a dork I am. I could go on and on about that one. That's the one sport I like, and it's not even real.
You should watch Did you watch the McMahon documentary?
I haven't watched it,
Bro, you should watch it.
I heard it was
My
good.
roommate and I watched it. It's like it'll make you want to rewatch all of like the Attitude Era and again, right? Attitude Era, yeah.
Yeah. It was like it covered it well. You
Yeah,
think?
it just like brought you back to like how it all began and like how WWE became a thing. It's badass.
Were you familiar with that stuff before?
As a kid, I used to love WWE. So is that what
Nice.
you mean, right? WWE.
It was WWE. It's WWE. Yeah, it was WWF for when it first was around, and then they switched around 1998 or something like that. Right when we were born.
Yeah.
Which is a fun fact I found out right before we started recording this. This guy's birthday is 4 days before mine, to the year. He was born 4 days before me.
We have the same mom. That's what we found out.
Yeah, he moved here the same time that I did, and he was born the same time as me. So we're basically the same person. And I just thought I should share that before I end this podcast because that really does blow my mind.
That is awesome.
That's like it's two things that do oddly align. Like because usually you don't even meet someone with their birthday that's that close to yours. Like rarely does that happen. Like sometimes the same day, but it's like.
And he moved here same day, June 20th ish, like 19th, 20th. I think it's like the same day I moved to Chicago.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
That's badass as hell.
June 20th, 2023 is when you moved?
Yeah.
That's crazy. You're not making that up.
It was the same day, yeah.
So he moved the same day. He's born 4 days before me, folks. I mean, Ruse just got his mind blown today. I auto lay that out. If you have a final message for the people or any social medias you want to let them know where they can find you, now's your chance. The floor is yours.
Yeah, Matt Bow too. I got some shows coming up. Where do I have it? I think I might be doing James's show again. I just was in Pittsburgh doing a ton of shows, so I won't be traveling for a while, so I'll be around in Chicago for a minute. So keep an eye on the Instagram for new stuff coming up.
Instagram is?
Batbo2. That's MATTBOH and then 2.
Hell yeah, folks. Matbo2. Too much fun up here in Ruse Radio. Thank you for being here, folks. Ruse Radio. Clocking out.
I got the world in my pocket, got a girl on my arm, got an eye in my socket, whirlwinds in my palms. I'm a free man, let me lead you along. I can show you something different, let me sing you a song. Ain't no algorithm touch me, ain't no palace this lovely. I find a way to find a way out.